Mass shooting number 245 this year, brought to you by CNN, the Gun Violence Archive, and a total lack of self-awareness. Random? Targeted? Doesn't matter. If it bleeds, it's a stat, unless it doesn't fit the narrative. This is today's mass shooting. The July 28, 2025 mass attack, if that's what it was, in New York City was a horrific tragedy. But the real story here isn't just about the crime, it's about how quickly the media put it through the narrative meat grinder. So today we bring you how to mangle a story in 5 easy institutions. Plus a bonus round, what they don't want you to connect, and why. CNN jumped in head first with a double feature of bad reporting. First, they labeled the incident mass shooting number 245, according to the Gun Violence Archive, the same database that includes parking lot arguments and gang shootouts as mass shootings. It's like using calipers to measure rainfall. Not useful, but it gives the illusion of precision. Apparently, CNN has not gotten the word that media outlets, even the most liberal ones, don't take the Gun Violence Archive seriously anymore. Then CNN, before knowing anything about the attacker, suggested that, wait for it, he might be white. Of course, because when in doubt, blame the usual suspects. Turns out he was black, but don't expect a correction. CNN's motto might as well be, assume first, clarify never. Next, we'll have our charter member of the Don't Say Stabbing Club, ABC's Good Morning America First Look. They gave us the linguistic gymnastics routine of the week. On July 29th, they used the phrase mass shooting at least 6 times, well, give or take, in the narration, the captions, and the crawler. But in the very same segment, they reported on the Traverse City, Michigan stabbing, a true random mass attack, and never once called it a mass stabbing. Not once. Why? Well, because the term doesn't move legislation. Only guns do. And it's not just bias, it's manufactured framing. Both attacks were or might have been random. We'll have to look at the second one. Both harmed multiple people. If these were both random attacks, then why would they not draw the connection? Well, because only one gets the scarlet S for shooting. Next, we have the NYPD Police Commissioner, and it's not an M4, ma'am. The police commissioner stepped in with this one gem. The attacker used an M4 rifle. That's a military-issued, selective fire, fully automatic weapon, not sold to civilians. What the shooter likely had was an AR-15 variant, which, let's be honest, the media calls an assault weapon regardless of what it actually is. But isn't it interesting that even with this so-called weapon of war, the shooter didn't spray bullets or mow down crowds as the anti-gun press likes to fantasize? He didn't take advantage of its incredible power, its rapid reloads, or its high-capacity magazines. Instead, he shot the people he came for, then stopped. He didn't maximize the firepower, he did exactly what he came to do. Now that is just like the Mangione attacker, who traveled across the country to shoot a healthcare executive, which is not random, which is mission-oriented. So if the press is going to draw comparisons, it should be to other targeted attacks, not just whatever shooting fills the quota for the day. Mangione and this guy both targeted corporations in New York City, regardless of the number of victims. It's almost a copycat. Then there's Eric Adams blaming guns. Mayor Eric Adams wasted no time blaming the easy availability of guns. Classic deflection. But guns are already virtually banned in New York City. And here's what else he didn't mention. The many Times Square stabbings. The U-Haul vehicle ramming attacks of 2017 and 2023. The woman set on fire in the subway. The NYPD machete ambush. and dozens of random slashings in just the past year, as we've said. Nope, none of that counts because there wasn't a gun involved, and the gun laws were of no help. When trying to explain the New York attack, the media and the authorities ignored modality, motive, and location, and instead latched onto another shooting in Las Vegas the same day. Was it random? Unclear. Was it in any way connected? Nope. But hey, it was a gun, so good enough. Let's talk about the forgotten heroes, forgotten because they had guns. It makes 2 attacks this summer that were stopped by armed civilians. The church shooting in southeast Michigan on June 22nd, and this Traverse City stabbing on July 28th. Both of these would have been mass killings, but they were stopped cold. And here's something to think about. They're not in the gun violence archive because they weren't mass shootings. Both were actual mass attacks, but both were stopped by a man with a gun. So neither attacker succeeded. Not only were they not mass murders, in fact, no one died in either attack. They were mass attacks, they were not mass murders or mass shootings, so they don't go into the liar's database quoted by CNN. And that's how the data game works. If it doesn't advance the narrative, it doesn't get counted. If a gun stops violence, delete. If a gun saves lives, ignore. These are lives saved and they don't count because the media do not track prevention, only tragedy. Let's talk about the pattern they don't want you to see. The real pattern isn't guns, it's random violence, mentally ill attackers, and defenseless victims. When you strip away the headlines, the tickers, the shrill voiceovers, what do you see? You see victims who had no chance, cities that offer no protection, and media that offer no truth. And worst of all, the people who could have saved themselves if only they had had the means. But they were told not to. They were told it wasn't necessary. They were told the government would protect them, but they were told wrong. You don't have to make the same mistake. You have the right to own a firearm and to use it in order to protect yourself. Now look, we don't claim to have every fact. New details are always coming out, but we'll say this. At least we're not pretending to know everything while deliberately spreading lies. Can CNN say the same?